have different things related to social programs that, I mean, we sort of addressed this already, but just that different states will deal with it so differently in terms of how they're giving benefits off UBI, that it just is going to create this weird, we may have a gajillion people moving to one state and leaving another state or the rest of it, or you just think that that's...
Well, that's one reason why having uniform benefits, because right now there are block grants that go to various states and the states do different things with it, as you're suggesting. And those are the programs that would be swapped out for UBI. So the more people that opt into UBI, then the like smaller those grants would be.
The whacked out incentives that you're talking about. Why not just take all of that money, which do we even know how much money is actually put into these things?
Of course.
So how much right now?
600 billion, give or take.
Give or take. All right, so why not take the 600 billion that are on programs that we know are creating as many problems probably as they're fixing, if not more, and then do it that way? Like, do you think, because it almost feels like it's like a little bit of a stopgap, that you'd still have to get to that problem eventually?
Well, that's the beauty of this, the freedom dividend proposal, is that you have this 600 billion or so, and then you're saying, hey, guess what? Like, it's now a new right of citizenship, everyone gets it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to dramatically reduce the enrollment in these programs very, very quickly, because a lot of people will be like, I prefer the cash. And then this new incoming population would just opt for the dividend and then never end up on these welfare programs. So you'd end up shrinking the enrollments over time in the way you described. You just wouldn't do it all at once, because there are a lot of people in very distinct situations. And this is actually much more politically feasible and popular than going and trying to tear these programs up and from the roots up.
Yeah. And one thing that I wanted to ask you about with regard to UBI was the structure of UBI, because as I initially understood it, which it seems incorrect, so correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's a universal program. However, the caveat is that it's opt-in. So to kind of tie this to a real-world example so I can kind of get a better grasp of how it would work in reality, my dad, for example, he receives Social Security insurance every single month of $1,300 per month. So with your proposal, he would have to choose between UBI and Social Security insurance. So my question then becomes, if he has to pick between these, and obviously he's going to opt for the $1,300 option because, basic math, it's more money.
It's higher.
Then, exactly, It's higher, so it makes more sense for him to do that. But effectively, he would not be getting an extra $1,000, because with my parents, they live paycheck to paycheck. They wait for that $1,300 check every single month. But if you increased them and supplemented what they already got, give them an extra $1,000, that would radically change their lives. But they'd have to opt in to UBI and they wouldn't get that additionally. Meanwhile, someone who makes $100,000 per year, who's firmly in the middle class, they'd get the extra $1,000. So even if I like that you're pitching this as a universal program, don't you think that opt-in caveat kind of undermines the universality of it?
Well, the $1,300 that your father receives, is that for both him and your mother? Are they both in the same household?
So I believe my father receives $1,300 and my mom gets $400 or something along those lines.
Yeah. So, and this is not an atypical situation, and it's why I ask, is that for your parents, your mom would also be entitled to the freedom dividend, and so she looks at her $400, and this is not unusual because a lot of women went years without developing work histories, often because they're raising kids, and then their Social Security benefits are much lower, and so your parents' net benefit would be $600 because your dad's like, hey, I'm getting $1,300, so pass in the freedom dividend, and your mom's like, ooh, freedom dividend.
Right.
And then, the extra $600 would be really significant for household on a fixed income. And so it is true that certain people who are in existing programs might benefit a bit less, though, as you know, $600 on top of the $1,700 they're currently getting would be like a huge relief. I mean, that would be, like maybe a 33% increase. So it might not sound like, ooh, $600 a month, who cares? But that's actually like really significant if you're operating on a fixed income.
It would be substantial. But and so technically, if you're looking at couples, then they would technically get $2,000 per month. But that still begs the question: why would someone, for example, on Social Security disability have to choose? Why would they not get as much as someone who's making $100,000 per year? Do you kind of see? So there's just a disconnect, and I'm hoping that you can fill me in on that if I'm genuinely misunderstanding.
No. Well, your understanding of it is correct. So there are some problems that the freedom dividend is well designed to solve. and then some that it is less well designed to solve, honestly.